welcome here, just the way you are. No more hiding tears, no more covering scars. You are welcome, holy welcome. You are welcome here, just the way you want to be. Bring your deepest hopes and all your wildest dreams. You are welcome, holy welcome, holy welcome.
Good morning. My name is Mary Klein. I'm one of the licensed practitioners here at CSL St. George, and I want to thank you very, very much for tuning in early for this meditation. One way to assist in creating the life that matters, which is our topic today, is through meditation. Meditation is a state of deep peace that occurs when the mind is calm and silent. We are cultivating the presence of God through meditation. So let us begin. If you're comfortable with closing your eyes, do so now. Take a couple of deep breaths to help you relax and leave the hurry of this morning behind you. I know the process of breathing is much more than the essential function of our physical body. Indeed, it is the flowing of spirit to you and through you. I will read a few lines from the meditation number 4 from the book, The 3 Magic Words by U.S. Anderson. After which I will ask you to sit in silence, listening to the small voice within you and contemplating the words that I have read. I know that all of life exists within me. Here in my heart and mind, in the recesses of my being, there is utter calm, a place of unruffled and placid waters, where the truth is apparent and the clamor of the world does not exist. I see about me the thoughts of all mankind, for these thoughts have become things. Whatever is good among these things, I accept. Whatever is evil, I ignore. My concern is only with truth and understanding, which is forever the lovely and the good and the expanding. My mind moves easily to the furthermost reaches of space in all directions, and just as easily moves back to me once again. I am the center of the universe. God, the universal subconscious mind, has made himself manifest through me. So let us pause for a couple minutes and contemplate these words. I know that my purpose in life is to reach over, upward, and outward, to expand in knowledge and love and unity. I place my future in divine hands. I turn over each problem of my life to that great all knowing mind to which all things are possible. I do not tell God how to bring these things about. I have complete confidence that every circumstance that comes my way is part of a perfect plan to convert the image of my faith into physical reality. Even now, the universe seeks to answer my every need. As I believe in my heart, so shall be done unto me. This is the law of life and of living. Let us pause again for contemplation of these words. There is greatness in my friend and in my enemy, for we are all brothers seeking the same high mountain along many paths. God, who made all creatures, made no poor creature, for he made only of himself. I am prosperous, for God owns everything. I am vigorous, for God is all vigor. I need only open my mind and my heart, keep my thoughts in the path of truth, and I am filled to overflowing with the power and abundance and love of the universe. Again, let us sit for a few moments contemplating these words. So focus again on your breath. Take a nice deep breath in. Let it out slowly. And know that you need only to open your mind and your heart and keep your thoughts in the path of truth. And you will be filled to overflowing with the power and abundance and love of the universe. When you feel complete, bring yourself back into the room. I am filled with gratitude and thanksgiving for your presence today. Thank you. Namaste.
There's something in the air, the dream of life in love, with minds that rest in prayer, sparking joy we're in awe. No matter where your path has been or time will somehow flies, like souls will come home again, true friendship ever thrives. Is this where the magic happens? Can you feel the hearts revealed right now in you and me? The secret is wherever we are. There's something in a smile that can turn a day around. Moments so worthwhile when we find common ground. No matter what the day might bring, right here we can align, knowing that we will be seen as perfect, whole, divine. This is where the magic happens. Let's feel all the hearts, close to me and me to you. The secret is wherever we are. So meet me where the magic happens, healing all the hearts, ignited now in you and me. The secret is wherever, the secret is whenever, the secret is together we are.
Good morning, my friends here in St. George, Utah, and wherever you might be watching from. I think there might be a few people across the country here and there. At the very least, our friend Chris, who is coming home today from Oregon. We are so delighted to have you with us here for our Sunday services. It is a delight to see you each Sunday and have you join and be part of our open, loving, and inclusive community. And here at CSL St. George, we support thinking creatively and living a deeply spiritual life. And we hope that we provide or guide you toward tools that enhance your individual relationship with the divine, the living spirit, however you see and voice God. We try to share with you each week a piece of our vision and mission, etc. Today, we have a short list of values that we hold dear to our heart. We value love and freedom, participation, enthusiasm, acceptance, contribution, cooperation, and humor. And your leadership, the core council, the practitioners, the service team, we all definitely try to embody these values, and we definitely embody cooperation and humor and love, and I hope it shows in the things that we provide for you. Here is our team today. I'm Marina Anderson, and I am your host and your tech. So some patience if I get distracted here and there. Miss Mary Klein gave us our beautiful meditation just before service started, and she will also provide our invocation during the first song of the day. And that song, and at least one other, is provided by Mr. Alan Stanley, one of our favorite musicians. And our sacred reading today is provided by Gwen Hadley, who is also a member of the Core Council. And of course, the beautiful message that awaits you will be provided by our senior minister, Reverend Joe Kovach. I'm excited to hear how the topic unfolds today. So this first song, Down in My Soul, I'd love to bring Mr. Allen in and have you sing for us today, kind sir.
That would be my pleasure. Hello, everybody. Hello, Marina. Well, I've got the lyrics here, so you can just sing along if you like. I hear the music down in my soul. I hear the music down in my soul. I hear the music down in my soul. And the whole wide world is my home. I got a new day down in my soul. I got a new day down in my soul. Every day's a new day down in my soul. And the whole wide world is my home. I love the silence down in my soul. I love the silence down in my soul. I love the silence down in my soul. And the whole wide world is my home.
What we seek to know in most of our experiences of life is our individual power, creating a life that matters. What is it in us that tells us that we are little, weak, insignificant, or that we don't possess what it takes to achieve what we most long to experience? Have you ever thought of that yourself? Something within us knows what to do, how to do it, and the most logical way to achieve what is in the perfect and right timeline. Yet do we turn to that? For us to see our individual power, please say, right where I am is a universal power individualized in perfect wholeness and completeness. The animating power in the universe is contained within the whole and the individual. The principle of life itself is the only sphere of action or reaction. There is only one pattern of life, and it is right where I am, as I create a life that matters. I am one with the power behind all things. I am in the action of all things I experience. I am one with the words I speak, for I am the Word which has taken flesh. I am one with the result of my individual consciousness, and that consciousness is my individual power, creating a life that matters. I allow for great intuition to flow into the consciousness which I maintain as perfect, whole, and complete. I see my individualized power demonstrating in the experience of life I witness as my life. As an individualized center of the universe, I have within me all the presence and all the power that I need. I individualize it in my own very unique way. I realize there is no need to reproduce any life that I have ever seen, for my own uniqueness can only be reproduced throughout the whole of the universe. I am an individualized pattern of perfection. I am alert and confident, knowing that my individual power is demonstrated according to my thought as I'm creating a life that matters. I've come to a place in my consciousness where my confidence is greater than any fear that may assault me. And I gladly take refuge in this knowing. I let go of my own blindness, and in its place, I affirm clarity and vision. I see my own individual power. My heart reveals this as my truth. Everything I do is a result of my consciousness as I create a life that matters. I am grateful that this is so. I surrender into the gratitude for today's realization, announcing the joy that flows endlessly from my heart. I am grateful to see my individual power. I release this into the law of mind, knowing that as I have spoken it, it is done according to my faith. I believe it is so, and so it is. Amen.
So it is. So it is. I feel the power down in my soul. I feel the power down in my soul. I feel the power down in my soul. And the whole wide world is my home. Yes, the whole wide world is mine. It's all of our own. And I'd like to welcome Gwen. She's going to be reading for us today. Hello, Gwen.
Good morning, Alan. Thank you. So we talk a lot about synchronicity, and after Mary's wonderful meditation, I thought, wow, I've picked the perfect talk. So my talk today is by Ernest Holmes. It's from a wonderful book called Creative Ideas, a Spiritual Compass for Personal Expression. So highly recommend that if you ever get a chance to pick it up. So he entitled this, I Have Confidence in Life. As our thoughts turn to the quietude of innermost self, we become conscious of the perfect peace and love and strength of the universal being, one spirit. There is refreshment in the realization that the self is all pervading in all and through all. It is the source of life. It is everyone's life. There is one great unity of life. There is but one life, one body of love, and all are part of it, the one being. Every part of nature melts into another in a great transmutation. One part could not exist without the other. In human nature, the fusion of love and thought makes us one. And so it is.
So it is, Gwen. Thank you. So, yes, I have a problem. Now, you folks that are used to seeing me out in public singing for you, I always have a hat on, and I'm generally standing up. So I'm going to play this little tune by Lisa Ferraro, and I'm not going to be standing up. I'm going to try to stay in this chair, but if I fall out of the chair and you see my feet, if you still hear me singing, keep singing along. We'll get through it. Everybody's got a smile for the world. Everybody's got a smile for the world. You gotta let it shine brightly, because that's what it's for. Ain't no sense in crying when your life has got you down. No, there ain't no sense in crying when your life has got you down. Just put a smile on your face. You're gonna turn your world around. Everybody's got a smile for the world. Everybody's got a smile for the world. You gotta let it shine brightly, because that's what it's for. Whoa! Now when you feel something missing from your day to day, when you feel something missing from your day to day, well, just put a smile on your face. You're gonna chase those blues away. Everybody's got a smile on their face. Hey, everybody's got a smile on their face. You gotta let it shine brightly, because that's what it's for. See if I get this right. Everybody's got a smile for the world. Yeah, everybody's got a smile for the world. Hey, you gotta let it shine brightly, because that's what it's for. Ooh.
Very nice. Very nice. You were rocking out there pretty good.
Yeah, thanks, Marina.
Yeah. Thank you, Alan. All right. Hello again. So as you know, we have a yearly, monthly theme that we have been following that comes from great prayer and thought from folks at the home office. And our 2022 theme is Living Everyday Wonder. For September, we're talking about work. And today's talk title is Creating a Life That Matters. I can hardly wait to hear what our dear Reverend Joe has to say about creating a life that matters. Good
I'm
morning.
laughing. It was, first of all, it was great music by Alan. I think I just saw a side of him. I haven't seen him, and I really love that energy. And when people say I can't wait to hear them, depends on how you take that, right? So I'm gonna do my best to make that a positive statement, Maria. Thank you.
It was a positive.
You're doing double duty. I know that's difficult, so I appreciate you very much.
Yeah.
I know you'll make me look good. Good morning, everybody. What a fantastic weekend it's been. And although I was not with you yesterday in person, I want to talk about that for a moment. Thank you for everybody that showed up. It's very important to me personally to see who's willing to come out and show up in our community, introduce yourself, whether you're brand new or you've been following the community since the very beginning when Reverend Josie started. And I heard that I missed meeting her in person. So that was disappointing. I saw the pictures, and thank you for Shay for putting that wonderful musical montage together. So I get to see who was there, and I saw some brand new faces that I haven't seen and some old faces. I wanted to give a shout out to Tina Sturgios. So good to see you, and hopefully we'll see you soon in person. But that is very important that we begin to, look, COVID's behind us. I'm just going to put it that way. And now that we can come out and commune together in fellowship, let's do that. That's important for me to see, again, just what do we got going on? I want to feel that energy, particularly in person. I really miss that. And Alan's song today, really, like, man, that would be so perfect and different, positively in person, feeling those energetic waves. But going back to yesterday, so to share, I have a family and I like to be transparent. So the reason I wasn't with y'all was twofold. One, we had a first, and that was my daughter Jophiel played her first volleyball game ever, and we got to watch her do that as a family. So that was amazing. That was in the morning, and she did quite well. Their team did quite well, almost too good. They pretty much. The only time they got scored against was when they missed their own serve. And I want to give shouts out. I don't know who their coach was, but spiritually, energetically give shout out to that gentleman because on the other side, because that team was feeling defeated quite quickly. And he did his best to just pick them up and motivate them every serve. And that was just heartwarming to see. It wasn't about competition. It was about the joy of just being out there and playing the game, which is kind of what we do in life, right? And then the second reason I didn't make it out there was we had a celebration of my son's 16th birthday, and we celebrated. My wife and I did a ritual for him, and our whole family was invited to partake. And as he's turning again 16, so for us that's a transition from being a child to a young man. And it was just a wonderful time of sharing and a ritual and togetherness. So that's why I wasn't with you all. So it was a great day nonetheless, and I look forward to our next opportunity to see each other in person. So I'm going to pull my notes up and get to our talk. And as we continue, that this month is still continuing to be an invitation to look at our spiritual practice of finding the good in the work that we do through the revelation of what we call everyday wonder, whether that work is a task or a project or our vocation, which we're going to talk about. I do want to remind you, last week we've been talking about wonder the whole year, and it struck me last week we really haven't talked about wonder in depth per se, where I wanted to remind us. And so wonder was kind of a two-part thing. It was wonder is the questioning that we do in the moment, meaning I wonder, the depth of whatever it is that we're looking at. And then there's the sense of wonder, which is to me the power and the presence of that which we call God in any and every moment. So when we talk about the wonder of it all, when we're in awe, like we're in that sense of wonder. And so this week, we're going to take a look at this idea of wonder and in our work, our actual work, our vocation. And so there was a gentleman named Parker Palmer, and he says this. He says, before you tell your life what you intend to do with it, listen for what it intends to do with you. Before you tell your life what truths and values you have decided to live up to, let your life tell you what truths you embody, what values you represent. And so as we go into this, very important is for us to listen to our own highest self. And I know that each day is an opportunity to continue this journey, our personal journey, to make meaning in the professional arena of life, of our work, our vocation. And wonder is, in a sense, is really all that's needed to discover what's within us in that deep, profound way and what life is inviting us, pulling us to experience. So start out with a quote from our founder, Ernest Holmes, and he says about this. He says, God is ever, I don't have my little laser on. Give me one moment here, folks. I like my laser. There we go. All right. God is ever going forth into new expression, and every word we speak, every thought we think is a further creative activity of God at the level of our expression of God. So with regards to, it's kind of an idea carrying over from last week, that our word and every word that we speak is that energy going out, creating. In a sense, this is our work as much as the work is that we do physically. And what we do physically is this activity of God. We are God in expression. So the work that we do is the activity of God. And that's what I believe that Ernest Holmes in this quote is talking about. So everything we do, we're bringing from that sense of perfection that's within. And going back to Parker, this idea of that we need to, we don't have to need to do anything, but I suggest that we listen to ourselves, that quiet, perfect voice within ourselves, that when we get quiet, we can hear it. And if we trust it, it will guide us perfectly to where we want to be. So another way of looking at our work, there's a Quaker saying, and it says, let your life speak. Sorry, let your life speak. So in other words, when we allow our lives to begin to speak to us, we then share that wisdom with the world. And so going within and recognizing again that all that we do, whether it's a mundane task, but particularly in that thing that we do 6, 7, 8, 10, 12 hours a day, there's a lot of energy that we're putting out into the world through that. And that's very meaningful. And again, we call this our vocation. And the word vocation comes from the Latin word, and I hope I say it right, but vocare, meaning voice. So going back to this Quaker saying, let your life speak, in essence, we're giving voice to that, the God that we are aware of within, and sharing that. So again, vocation is about listening, about us listening to that voice of spirit and trusting in it, in the expression that is in, through, and as us. And it's constant. But again, particularly in this vocation, you know, are we coming from a place of authenticity, that we just trust that I'm showing up in the best and the highest way that I can? Because as I tell the students that I counsel, are you doing your best? Because if you show up and we do our best, we can't do better than that. We can slowly improve on that. But in the moment, if I'm doing the best I can, that I know of, with all that I'm aware of, that's it. That's what I call perfection. And so we let our life speak from our soul. And what shows up in life is that form of what we can then take a look at. And so vocation is not a little role or necessarily a job or an occupation. It is that quiet yes whispered to our soul. And our life never really stops speaking to us. It's always there. There's always something new. It's always changing. And it's always a discovery. And share a quote with you from Thomas Merton. He says this. He says, discovering vocation does not mean scrambling towards some prize just beyond my reach, but accepting the treasure of true self I already possess. Discovering the true self I already possess. So it's already within us. And a lot of times we limit it because of our own judgment. We may love to do a certain thing, and then we limit it because we say, oh, I can't make a living out of that. How can I support myself or my family? Or, you know what they say about artists, you know, they're all starving, so how can I make a living at that? And our own thoughts and beliefs limit that fullness of life being expressed in our own life. And I suggest that we begin to tune in and listen for those sounds of the creation that is coming to again and through us, now more than ever. It is always, always speaking within us constantly, no matter where we're at, no matter what we're doing. I don't care if I'm in traffic or I'm standing in a line at the grocery store. If I go within, and I have to do this often because I'm not the most patient person at times, particularly those two places, standing in line waiting and traffic, okay, there's always that guiding voice. And when we think about what we're going to do in life, how we're going to show up and present ourselves through our vocation, it's there for that too. It is that truth which already knows of that perfect life that we want to live. It's there already. It knows we don't have to speak a word. It knows who we are because it is who we are. I want to ask you a question. How many of us can say that we're living a life that we love? I want you to contemplate that for a good 5-10 seconds when we're quiet here. Silence. Think about that. Am I living a life that I love? And then listen to and hear your own response. Most often, the answer is going to be something like, well, I like what I'm doing, and then the rest of it's going to be buts. It's going to be but this or but this, and then we try to rationalize how we kind of are, but maybe I'm not living a life that I love. And a lot of that has to do with, again, what is our expression? What is our creative, this godly creative expression that takes up a huge amount of time and energy in our own lives? But we cannot get to that place where we are saying we love life through judgments of it, through limitation. So we're talking about a vocation. And as I was building this talk, I reminded myself, well, the title is Creating a Life That Matters. And I understand that vocation is this divine energy that's already present. Again, I've said this a number of times already this morning. But then I listened within myself, and there was a resistance. I'm like, something's not feeling right to me. Like, all right, I'm talking about vocation, but vocation sounds just like work. And that's a thing. That's a thing. It is a role and an important role in our life, and it's a little more than that. But creating a life that matters, and I know we're looking through this week of work, but I needed to expand that to feel like I was covering everything. Because vocation, as I'm speaking this message, if my son's listening, he's 16, and you know, vocation, he doesn't have a real sense of that. And some other people may be on the flip side, where they're retired from the vocation, and yet there's still a wonder of how can I live a life that I love. And so how can I live, going back to the way I like to say it is, I creatively express. How do I creatively express the God within? And so we are all creative, and we're all always creating. And so as I went within, and what popped up right away for me was a book that I discovered many years ago. And as I've said many times, I love things that are simple and profound. And so this book for me, I've gone back to over and over again because it has a simple message that is practical. Again, we can follow, and it talks about how we show up, just the topic that we have today. And it is a book by Neil Donald Walsh. I actually had shared a quote with him, I believe it was last week. And it's not Conversations with God, but it's this book here. And the reason there's two pictures of it is because I have this book here, and I didn't know there was a new version. So I'll be honest with you, I don't know if any changes were made in the newer version. So I'm bringing it to you from this. It's called Bringers of the Light. And in the end, in the simplicity, it offers 5 steps and 5 principles about creating a life that we love. And so I want to simply, for the rest of this today, share these steps and principles with you. And again, simple and profound. So here we go with step 1. He says, step 1 is get clear about the purpose of your life. We could do this at any time. We could do this at 10, and we could do this at 80. What is the purpose of my life? You know, our function is to create the point of our lives, is what he's saying. In doing so, we create ourself with the capital S, because what we're doing is we're saying, this is who I am in life. Why am I here? What am I here to do? We decide who and what we really are, who we are really going to be. So the principle that goes along with step 1, get clear about the purpose of your life, is this. He says life is pointless, and that is God's greatest gift to us. Now, it took me a while to understand this, even reading the book, and it's not a thick book. As a matter of fact, this is the book, and not very thick. But I've been using this, and I found this, oh my gosh, probably 15 years ago. So the idea that life is pointless means that, look, we are the divine in expression. We get to choose. We get to, in a sense, tell ourselves what the purpose of life is. We can do this by contemplation, by meditation, by getting quiet and listening. Okay? But it's there. What would I love to wake up and do every day? If time and money and education didn't matter, how would I show up? What is the purpose? Why am I here? Okay? For me, doing this is the culmination for me of the purpose. You know, and yes, this idea of bringers of the light in the lighthouse, I believe that it's what we're doing is we're sharing spiritual wisdom, which is life wisdom, because there's no difference between the two. It's everything is spiritual. And for when I show up like this is I'm living on purpose, and I love the opportunity that I have here to do that and to show up. So he says, don't ask yourself, tell yourself, right? Hey, this is why I'm showing up. And we know that by our other spiritual laws, life will then mirror back to us what we are giving out. And it has taken some time for me to get clear about that, but I'm doing that. And I know, and I see people doing this everywhere, from our exterminator that comes once a month, who loves what he does, to our mechanic, who cars in the shop right now, and I know he has a passion. That's his purpose. He loves that, and he serves. When we're in our purpose, we're serving at the highest level. So that's step 1, and I want to make sure that we stay on track so we get all of them in. Step 2, translate your purpose from doingness to beingness. Now this is where it gets a little more profound, a little deeper. He says, doing this, again, this is Neil Donald Walsh. He says, doing this is a function of the body. Beingness is a function of the soul. Beingness is a function of our soul. So the principle is kind of that goes right with that, is that you are a human being, not a human doing. And when I first read this, I kind of cracked up to myself, but I let that sink in. Right? Our body is a living demonstration of the state of beingness in which our soul lives. That's what he shares. Our body is a living demonstration. So however we're doing physically is how it reflects how we're being inside. And when we know who we are and what we are, and we're being that, life is all wonder, all awe. So step 3, we're moving to step 2. Step 1, life is pointless. Okay, we choose it. We are divinely ordained to make that choice. There is no wrong choice, and we can change that choice anytime we want. Step 2 is let's look at life, the purpose, not necessarily in what we do, but how we're showing up, that beingness within us. Step 3 is adopt right now the state of being you have described, no matter what you are doing. So in essence, he's saying here, this idea that whatever it is that we now say is our purpose, we need to put that on fully, not just when we show up at whatever. The principle that goes with this is everything you are being because you choose to be. Now, this principle reminds me, going back to the 15 Commitments of Conscious Leadership book, where they talk about being radically responsible. Radical responsibility is the way they say it. So in other words, everything that we're being, okay, is our choice. as we put on our purpose, and maybe it doesn't fit right away, although we're led to that purpose, we put it on fully. We're going to own it. And, you know, when we do this, he says that we're the courageous ones. We've chosen to make a life rather than make a living. There's a difference there. And I think when I read that over again, that's where I was feeling the resistance about the word vocation, as I know it. You may know it differently. And that this step helps me understand we're not just doing something for 8 hours a day, because what we're doing comes from this place of beingness. So who I am, when I tap into that and know that intimately, that becomes expressed fully throughout my life. So you know me as Reverend Joe, and I am Reverend Joe everywhere I go, to the best level that I can, to the fullness of who I am and what I know in that moment. And so there's times when I realize I'm out of alignment, and I check, and am I living on purpose? Yes or no. And if it's a no, I take responsibility that I'm choosing that in that moment. And if I don't like it, I don't approve of it, or I realize there's a better way, I'm empowering myself to make that change through I'll say, language and beingness of love. I'm not beating myself up. I'm not judging myself. Okay. And if I catch myself doing that, I work through that. And that's where the power of prayer comes in, because prayer, as we know, shifts us from where we're at to where we want to be, to that truth that we know inside. So step 3 again is, once we know that purpose that we have, and we realize it's not just in what we do, that it's in our beingness, we're being responsible for that beingness at all times. Step 4, observe opposition and call it opportunity. Okay, so before I go any deeper, I'm going to share the next principle, because it goes right with it. Before I start talking and describing, it says, as soon as you decide who and what you are, everything unlike it will come into the space. Now, this may sound confusing, so I'm going to spend a minute here. I'm going to give you an example, and I've shared it with you before. It's been a while, and this is obviously a true example. So back when I was understanding who and what I am as God in expression, I was kind of thinking like, okay, how do I want to show up in the world? Now, being raised a Roman Catholic, one of the perfect examples of how I would want to show up would be Jesus the Christ, Jesus of Nazareth. And I love the way that no matter where he was or who he was with, he was always in alignment with his truth. And I love that. And so I remember it was a late evening. I said, I want to be like Jesus. That was it. And I was pretty adamant about that. You know, I could walk through the world and love on people and not judge them and guide them. I could do that. And the next day I woke up, and it was a regular day for about 3 minutes, I think. And I went to work, and the whole rest of the day was, let us just say, more than challenging. Like every challenge with regards to me feeling peaceful and loving in the world showed up. And I got home later that evening and was talking with my wife, and I was like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Like I said, I want to be like Jesus and peaceful and loving. And, you know, every jerk in the world show up and nothing went my way. And like, I don't get it. And then I realized it wasn't like life showing up to beat me down. If I say I'm going to be peaceful, and that's my place of beingness, I have to have an opportunity to understand what that is. The opposite of that has to show up for me to say, oh, Mr. Person who's not so nice to me right now, I'm going to be loving to you. I'm going to appreciate the opportunity that I have right now to show love to you. But I didn't get it, and I failed pretty well. And yet I failed forward. And it's still, I don't know if I could say I'm not there 100% yet. But I understand now the power of what I say and how life shows up as an opportunity. Okay, it's not here to beat us down, because when we learn the lesson, we'll see that that we are able to have that presence within us wherever we go. And yet, remember that we're in this the human world for a reason. So we still must take time to take care of ourselves, to recharge ourselves, so to speak, by remembering fully and blocking out the rest of the world. That's what meditation does for us, to remember our truth. But a perfect example, in other words, of once we say something, okay, we may see some resistance showing up in the form of opposites, but it doesn't mean that it's there to harm us. It's a gift. That's another gift of God for us to prove who and what we are. He says, regarding this principle, that we are offered the ability to experience the power of changing our thinking and changing our lives as we change the meaning. So in other words, when I change the meaning of what I experience from, life happening to me and I have no control and I don't know, when I just sat for a moment, I realized this is an opportunity for transformation. All right, step 5. Allow form to create itself. The principle that matches this is beingness becomes form. So what does that mean? Again, this is our state of being. If I'm in a loving, peaceful energy, we know that that energy is where we create from, and that we trust that that is what's going to show up in our lives. But step 5 means we allow it to show up. We don't have to dictate the exact way. That's what we trust to that which we call our higher self, or to God, or to life, to the universal presence and creator. We trust that it knows perfectly how, the best way, through whom, when to show up in our lives. So we just trust and realize as we're tapping into the goodness within ourselves, knowing that that goes forth through what we're doing into the world and will be mirrored back to us through people, places, events, and circumstances. So again, I know you're going to want to review this and go back through it, or get the book if it's still available. Obviously, the new version is. These 5 steps, they're simple, but there's a lot to it. And it's, yes, our work. It's going to come through in our work, and even more importantly, it's going to come in everything we do, everywhere we show up. Because therefore, I believe that we can follow these things. We are truly creating a life that matters because we're choosing it. So let us not, in other words, limit ourselves in what we want. I may have a good idea of how I want my life to go, and I almost always end with this or something greater. Right? Because I'm coming from this individualistic mind. I don't have it all. Okay, so I trust that presence of me that has that satellite view that's seeing everything going on. Hey, I know you want this, but give me a second here and let's do this, and you're going to get the same experience that you're looking for, or greater. All right. Another quote we want to share by Ernest Holmes. He says, "We must cleave to the good and trust absolutely in the law of God to bring about any desired end. Spirit will mold our purposes when we allow it to do so. As we learn to depend more and more upon the perfect law, we shall find that the outward things which are necessary to our good will be provided." So this is our science of mind way of saying, look, we need to trust and allow God to do its good. And we have to do this through, in a sense, testing it. That's okay. That's not wrong. Hey, this is what I want. I feel like I'm aligned with it. And now I trust that it's going to show up. And I perfectly like to start small, right? Attract something small in our life first. Say, okay, yeah, this is what, and then gain that momentum, that power and that presence, and gain it and know it and learn it and love it and realize it's the same as us. All right, I believe. Okay, so the last thing I want to share today is it's a little story, and regarding this idea of creating a life that matters. This is maybe the answer lies within a Hasidic tale that has been retold by Martin Buber. And it goes like this. It says, a rabbi named Zusia died and went to stand before the judgment seat of God. As he awaited for God to appear, he grew nervous, thinking about his life and how little he had done. He began to imagine that God was going to ask him, Zusia, why weren't you like Moses? Or why weren't you Solomon? Or why weren't you David? But when God finally appeared, the rabbi was surprised. God looked at them and simply asked, why weren't you Zusia? And when I found this tale, it was like perfect. The message is just be ourselves in all the glory, in all the mess, in all the wonder. Be ourselves. Show up authentically. That's what we came here to do in the end. And no one can do it like us. No one. We are unique. So let us enjoy that process and find the wonder of creating a life that matters. Yes, in our vocation and in all the work that we do. So let us end with our affirmation. Again, using this to put on the fridge or put in front of us, knowing that our thoughts and the energy, the beingness that comes from our words as we read this matters. So let us do this together. It says, the work of my soul is creating a life that I love. That is what matters. All right. So I'm going to close with a prayer now. Take a deep breath. And just feeling that presence that is always there in its fullness. And I just bask in the wonder of it all and know that in this moment, the more that I love living this life, the more I will be given and guided to love. That it's not always about the specifics, it's about the experience that I want to have. And so I declare to life that I am having an absolutely loving, peaceful, joyous experience in every moment, no matter where I'm at, no matter what I'm doing, no matter who I'm with. It is my dominant intent to experience love, joy, and peace and wonder. And as I know this for myself, I know this and blesses with everyone that hears my voice, everyone in our beloved spiritual community of CSL St. George, but and beyond. I know that the whole world is a perfect expression of God's love, peace, and joy. That as I choose to go within in this moment, I experience it to the best of my understanding, and that I am open to experiencing more. For that is the true wonder of how much more can I experience, knowing that life is what we understand as infinite. So I'm knowing that this wonder shows up in our work, in our creative expression, no matter how old, young we are, no matter what phase of life we are in. We are experiencing this wonder, this wonder of creating a life that matters. And so it is. Namaste, my friends.
And so it is. Thank you so much. That was, I have lots of notes here, which I won't take lots of time here, maybe in the Zoom afterwards. But my main takeaway is that no matter what our role is, no matter what our work is, no matter what hat we happen to be wearing, no matter what name we're being called, it's still us. It's still the same purpose. It's still the same. We're walking in the world and throughout all of those the same. So thank you. That was lovely. I can hardly wait to get to the Zoom. I hope I get to talk there.
Yes, everybody come join us, please.
Yes, please. Thank you, Reverend Josie, in just a couple minutes. Okay, y'all, take a deep breath. Oh my goodness. That was a goodie. I said I was looking forward to it, and I was not disappointed. Wow. Okay. All right. Come back into my body here. So thank you again to everybody who came to our in-person gathering. We had somewhere around 20 folks, some new, some of us that have been around a while. It was a lovely time. We had good conversation. It was great to see Reverend Josie. I kind of came on CSL when she was stepping away. And so it was nice to have a conversation with her and get to know her a little bit. So we will have another gathering like that in October, but our next actual in-person thing is next weekend on the 17th. We're going to have an information booth at the Pride Festival at Town Square Park. If you want to help us with that, we still have some needs in the late afternoon and evening of folks to work the booth. So email us and we'll get you on the list. And if even if you're not working, I hope you'll come and support the visibility theme of Pride of Southern Utah here in our beautiful city. And again, reminding you that the book club is returning with the book God is Bigger Than the Bible. Sue says it's a little teeny tiny book, but it should stimulate some great conversation. You can email her at her CSL email, Sue Fulmer at CSLSTGeorge.org, if you want information about that and to let her know that you're going to plan on coming. And I'm excited to share personally this announcement that you've been seeing in the newsletter and on the slides in the last couple of weeks. We're going to have a conversation about diversity, equity, and inclusion. And it's not a class, it's just an opportunity to have small group conversations about how you and we walk in the world and how are we implementing our vision of creating a world that works for everybody. So watch your newsletter and these slides for further information. We hope to start on October 12th. We're still discussing days, so that may change. So be sure you keep watching the announcements so you know when to show up. And practitioner Bill Smith is going to partner with me on that. So I hope you'll join us. We want to hear from you. We want to assist you and support you in whatever way we can through the community care circle, and also through prayer requests. This information is also in your newsletters and reminders. So it's also on the website. So if you're ever wanting to chat with someone, or have someone support for glorious things that are happening in your life or challenges, prayer supports us in expanding our gratitude and healing our woundedness in our life. So whatever is up for you, we want to support you in that. And we also appreciate your gifts, your continued financial gifts, which will help us keep this service going, help us expand as we move into our future together for in-person gatherings, for eventual long-term location that is in our future at some point. So you can take a picture of the QR code here, which will take you to our website. So that you can donate through PayPal. We have a new service through Zelle, which is a bank-to-bank service, which does not charge us a fee. Instructions are in your newsletter, so don't forget to check that out. And as Reverend Joe invited you, please come to our after-service conversation where we can talk and reflect. And it is possible to have a private prayer with today's practitioner, Mary Klein, at the same time. Just type in the chat that you want a prayer, and I will jet you into a chat room with her. So next Sunday is our guest speaker, Eugene Holden, who's been a great friend of ours over the last couple of years. We're happy to have him back talking about living your dream. And then, of course, Reverend Joe is coming back on September 25th, talking about failing forward. And now we're back to the closing affirmation. I'll bring everybody up and we will say it together. We hope that you'll say it at home with us as well. And
on the right side today. Oh, there we go. Now we're on the left.
There we go. All right.
Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
It is this thing called life.
Life is in my mind. Life is in my body. Life is in all that I do.
I am it, I embrace it, and I share it.
Just the way that it is, and just the way that it is becoming. Thank you.
New life.
Thank every one of you.
Thanks for
And
being here
we love
today.
sharing your, hearing your, reading your comments. So please, if you get on Facebook or YouTube, anytime you watch this, share it. We want to read it.
Have a blessed Sunday and join us on Zoom.
Zoom,
Love you
zoom.
all.